in a cloak and with a glowing sword. He was a sword master who, as the plot of the novel developed, became famous throughout the continent, but at the beginning of the novel he was only a knight guarding the Baron, whose eldest son's name was. The hero suddenly realized who he was and screamed, was he really that prankster Lloyd Frontera? Xavier looked calmly at the flushed boy. A slight surprise touched his face and he said that he did not call the boy a prankster, only called him by name. Xavier smiled slightly and said well, that Lloyd correctly assessed himself. The notification reported that Xavier looked pleased, to which Lloyd mentally asked the notification to shut up. In front of the heroes was a large two-story mansion in the night. Xavier stirred the wood in the fireplace and asked the hero if he remembered how he ended up on the road. Lloyd sat wrapped in a warm blanket while Xavier explained to him that Lloyd had been drinking since dinner and broke all the dishes in the tavern, then got homesick and fell asleep on the way. In his mind, Lloyd noted that this was expected on the day of the prankster. Xavier continued to explain that the Baron was worried about his son and sent him away. He noted that even if the son was a prankster, the Baron would be sad if his son died on the street with a crooked mouth. Lloyd noted that Xavier spoke without any fear. Lloyd felt the floor and dreamed of a heated floor, but suddenly realized that he was in a medieval fantasy. Xavier turned around and told the hero to rest and said that he would report to the Baron about his tricks tomorrow morning, to which Lloyd asked not to tell and immediately received a negative answer. Xavier was impenetrable, like a wall. Xavier had already opened the door as Lloyd turned to him. The guy with a strange smile asked if they had much light at home. Xavier closed his eyes, surprised by the strange words. He slammed the door behind him without answering. The hero silently thought he knew the entire content of this novel. In his world, lying in a narrow room, finishing reading the last chapter on his phone, he knew the fate of his character. On the cold floor, the pale hands of the Baron and his wife lay on top of each other. The hero knew that at the very beginning of the novel they fell for vile swindlers, lost all their fortune and committed suicide. Lloyd was lying drunk on the table and asking to be served alcohol. After killing his parents, he began to beg and drink non-stop. Lloyd vomited blood and held his throat. Dropping the mug, he died. The guy threw off the blanket and screamed that even if he had become an aristocrat, his life was as worthless as in Korea. He mentally turned to the Absolute, remembered the notification sign, tried to understand what it was up to. He did not understand why he had stuck it in this body. Morning came and the town under the mountains was illuminated by the sun. The white walls of the mansion shone in the sun. Xavier walked calmly behind the lady in the white dress, who was clarifying what Lloyd had done in the tavern last night. It was his mother named Marbella Frontera. Lloyd stood there shabby and realized that he had actually read a novel yesterday. An agitated Marbella asked her son to go and apologize to her. Lloyd did not let his mother finish and immediately agreed, guiltily scratching the back of his head. He understood that he was responsible for the pogrom that his body had committed yesterday. Marbella and even Xavier suddenly opened their eyes in surprise, which was noticed by the pop-up notification. The hero did not understand. Should he not be at least a little proud of him? The sky above the medieval houses